What's up, guys? DrumQuig Podcast, episode 18, and I've got a very special guest. And I don't want to say that just because of what he does and what he has brought to the table, but he's one of the first people to ever reach out to us and say, hey, I think I'd be great for this. And that to us is kind of a statement piece. So please
Oh,
welcome
man.
Scotty here, aka Drummer POV. How you doing, man?
Great.
So
Glad to be here.
absolutely. So getting right into it, you've got one of the most unique pages I've come across in the time that we've been doing this, where you just have this unique perspective of posting these pictures from behind the kit, the place that
Right.
nobody ever gets to see. And I just want to kind of
Right.
like
It's
start
it's the best seat in the house, I think.
exactly. And I think that it's perfect that I hung this picture because that is a picture from behind the kit. So talk about like
Fantastic.
what started you doing that? Like what got you to say, I want to post these pictures and I want to show everybody this side of the table.
Well, I mean, it started out when I was incredibly young. I used to go to concerts with my parents, and we used to go to church like every Sunday. And my church had a phenomenal band and a great drummer, and I really enjoyed watching him. But, when you're sitting in the audience, you really don't get to see what the drummer's actually doing because
Mm-mm.
there's cymbals and you got the toms and what's he doing with his feet. So I was always fascinated, and I used to leave where my parents were and go and like stand behind the drums, or at least this is what my parents told me. Like, where'd you go? And I was like, I was behind the drums because it's so cool back there. And, same with concerts. I'd go to concerts and I would just disappear, and my parents would find me back behind the drums. It was always where I wanted to see what was happening back there. Like, what the heck is he doing? And I wasn't a drummer when I was younger. I just thought it was really cool to see that point of view, just see what's happening back there. And I started playing drums when I was a teenager. And what was your question?
What got it all started?
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of that, before we even get into the teenage years and playing, like, do you remember the first concert? Like the first time it happened or the first time you were told about it happening, where your parents went to look for you, you were gone and found you behind the kit?
I actually don't remember specifically what the first concert was, but it was probably like a church thing, like the drummer's just going off, like a breakdown or something. And I was like, I gotta see what this guy is actually doing back there, But I wish I knew who the drummer was, but it was so long ago. Who knows?
Absolutely. Do you like, can you recall the first time you remember it? Or like the first time that like you have a vivid vision of what you were doing, even if it wasn't the first one, if there's one that
I
stood out.
actually don't. I can't remember yesterday, let alone 50 years ago. It's, that's kind of where the drummer point of view Instagram thing came from, because I had such a terrible memory that I started taking a picture of my own drum set to document like where I was and what kit I was using at that time, and the show, just so I can remember myself. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's like like a time machine. You could go back and look at it and go, oh yeah, that's when I played with that one band. And, oh wow, I used that symbol, So it was just for my own remembering, So if that makes any sense, that it was just to remember stuff for me personally. So I had a catalog of it, and Instagram could keep it for me. So and then, I kept doing that for years, and then I was like, you know what? I should do this for like other drummers, because I want to see their stuff too.
Yeah,
And then it just took off from there.
that's crazy because it is, I mean, you've grown exponentially. I think when I looked, I'm going to look now, I would pull it up on screen, but I'm not that fancy. I mean, follower wise, like it's pretty crazy what you've been able
I know
to.
it kind of blows my mind too. I mean, I get like 100 new followers, I think every week. And that's wild.
So you're up to 12,300, which again, something that started as you taking a picture to document your own like situations and your own gigs and your own memories turned
Yeah.
into this. So
Right.
what's that been like? Just
Well,
skyrocketing.
I think it's really cool. My favorite thing about it is just interacting with the followers like you're doing yourself. People just sending me pictures of the drum set, like, "Hey, can you post this?" I'm like, "Sure, that's how I do this. You send me a picture and I'll for sure post it." And I think drummers are just really cool, musicians to interact with and talk with. They're not like guitar players.
Uh,
Um, we're different. So just being drummers, it's been really fun interacting with fellow musicians.
Well, absolutely. And then this, segue right into it's so funny that as a kid you always wanted to see what the drum set was, that view from there, but you said you didn't start initially with drums. So did you kind of get like sidelined and then realize that drums were for you, or did something come up like
Totally. My parents made me take piano lessons as a child, and I just hated it. I was like, "Why do I have to do this? I can't stand it." I would think of excuses to get out of it, and I would never practice. I mean, looking back, you're like, "Well, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you?" But I really didn't enjoy it, and drums really just came naturally to me. I got some drums, and I never had lessons. I just kind of started playing. I played in like high school marching band. I guess that was instructional,
Mhm.
but I taught myself how to play the drum set. So I think it was just meant to be, maybe. I don't know.
Seems like it tried to get you away. It's funny because I remember, like, my dad told me, 2 years old, picked up a drumstick and was like, "Oh my god," like that was natural. And it's so funny
Right.
because when I got older, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna try and learn how to play guitar." I said, "I'm gonna try and do something different." And I took like I wanna say 2 months. I think it was 2
Yeah,
weeks. And I went, "Yeah, no, I don't like this." And, we talked about this in one of the prior episodes where we undervalue the piano as a percussive instrument. Like,
totally.
it really is, and dad played piano, I played xylophone, marimba, like, I did that stuff, and it's so funny that we talk about so many drummers get stuck. Their parents are like, "Go play the piano. Go play something quieter, nicer," you
Totally.
know?
I mean, I can see why parents would prefer you play that instrument, and especially nowadays because the piano, with computer technology. I have 2 kids, and they both took piano lessons, so, they didn't enjoy it as well, but, they have some extra special ability, and they can play, like, any musical instrument without even trying. I don't know if I had anything to do with that,
A little bit.
but what I was gonna say is, if you learn how to play a piano, you could literally play any instrument.
Yeah.
You could get a MIDI controller and you could play anything, and that's really kind of special if you could do that.
Yeah, and it was something I was always like I'm still in the stages where I wanna learn some things on piano, and I have Ben Folds to thank for that because you listen to some of
Oh
that,
yeah,
and you're like, "I wanna learn how to do that. I think
you're
I
right.
could figure that out. I just haven't gotten there." One day where I don't have to worry about the neighbors and, all that good stuff, but you're right. If you could play the piano, you can pretty much do anything because it's the coordination, it's the know-how and the understanding and really the flexibility to be able to play other things. Because if you can play piano, you can likely play a marimba, you can play a xylophone
Sure.
because it's the same general
Or you
concept.
could make those sounds anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would
I
be
got I
remiss.
got I got one over there. Oh, it's covered up by a table. Oh,
Oh
you
no.
can see it.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if we don't talk about what's behind you because I don't think
Yeah.
I've had a drummer with guitars behind him. So this is
Well, I do play guitar. I mean, I learned how to do stuff by default. I mean, I wasn't playing in a band during COVID, so playing guitar was pretty awesome. Just doing stuff by yourself. But yeah, I got tons of guitars and pianos and basses and anything that makes sound. But this is my garage. I call it the car hole, and this is where I have band practice when I can.
Yeah, and I saw the sign and I was like, I have to ask why it says car hole back there. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's a reference to The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons.
grew up watching it, and for the longest time, my dad called me boy. So, yeah, that just took me back. Woof. Oh
Yeah.
man. Wow, that just completely just set me completely off course. So that's
Sorry.
great. No, that's great. Listen, it doesn't happen often that I get speechless, and I make that joke all the time because, the reason I started a podcast in the first place was I don't like myself on camera and I don't like the sound of my own voice. And ironic that I would do a video podcast where I do most of the talkings.
Right.
Makes all the sense in the world. You're sitting at a drum set. Talk us through
Yeah.
what you've got there. Well, at least the one you're sitting at, because I see there's more behind you.
I got more stuff in here than the room will hold, but, can I flip this around and
Yeah.
I can show you what's happening?
Like, how big is this room?
Uh, how do I it's as big as a garage. Maybe I can
Gosh.
do that. Can you see?
Yeah. It's gonna take
Alright.
it a second, but
Yeah, I got 2 drum sets. There's more back here.
oh my gosh. There's drums over there.
Tons of amplifiers, everything that makes
Is that a
sound.
Zach Wild guitar?
It is. This is my son's. This is a mini one.
I was gonna say it looks small, yeah.
It's super tiny. It's for kids. But you know what I did was I tuned it to an open tuning. So he didn't have to finger anything. He could just strum it and it would make like a D chord or E. I can't remember what I tuned it to, or maybe C. And we played a couple of shows together.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I played the drums and he played guitar. And that was super fun. I
Yeah,
think he was like 2 or 3 years old. I mean, it was ridiculous.
that's
Got
crazy that
some
I
electric drums.
geez, you really do. Oh, and a vinyl collection for days.
Oh, yeah, we got tons of records. I had to bury them with guitars, though, but, yeah, we got everything happening in here. I got some fun chimes.
With keys. Oh, that's funny.
I just made a record, and, I got to, use these.
Did you make those yourself?
I wish I could take credit for that, but there's a guy that has a company called Upcycled Percussion, and I found him on the internet, and he makes stuff out of just recycled things like plastic cans and pill bottles and anything that you would throw away that has the potential to make cool sounds. He strings them together and makes like rattles and
That's
bottle
awesome.
caps. He makes like a ching ring out of bottle caps. I have a couple of those. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm literally looking at it right now. I'm gonna get distracted. So I was,
Yeah.
I was like, I
But
was,
I love stuff like that. I mean, it's like garbage, but it makes such a beautiful sound.
nothing is garbage to somebody.
I don't think so either. Look at this thing. I mean, we're going to geek out here. This thing I found in Hoboken. I came out of my practice studio there years ago, and this thing was in the road by my car. I'm like, what the heck is this thing? I thought it was a piece of plastic, and I kicked it to get it out of the way so I could drive off, and it's metal.
It looks like an Amish wheel.
I call it the Pentagon, but it's simply amazing.
That is awesome. The video feed's terrible, but I'll cut that part up. I'm sure it'll look good when it actually uploads, but that looks so cool.
I mean, I love stuff like that. I'm the kind of guy, I used to live in Brooklyn and I would just walk around and find cool garbage. I mean, I found guitar amps. People just throw out the craziest stuff.
Yeah,
Like, why are you throwing this out? And you take it home and you're like, oh, this probably isn't going to work. Works perfectly fine.
it's like when you find something at the
Got a guitar amp for nothing.
we found something at a thrift store. We were looking for something to fit a space. And we're like, it has to be like 25 and a half inches. And I walked over and I was like, exactly. And it's those moments where you're like, you find the one thing that you're like, I don't know what I need this for yet, but this will work.
Right.
This is going to be something. And I've done that
That's
with
the best.
boxes. And this box that's over here has all the concert tickets that I have. and I have them all in
Wow.
in the dollar bill holders.
That's
And
great.
it's like an old cigar box, but they fit in there perfectly. I bought the box and I was like, I don't know what this is gonna be for, but I'm gonna find something cool for it. Like I'm gonna find something that makes sense for this. And so
I wish that concerts had tickets still. I mean, when's the last time you went to a concert and you actually got a ticket?
I will send you this info. This company, these are tickets that
Oh, you have them made?
yeah. And I mean they
Yeah,
literally look. That's what I started
that's
doing.
super cool.
I just showed off something that these guys weren't supposed to see for one of the next episodes. So if you're watching,
Uh-oh.
guys, you did not see that. No, so the Heavy Pets played. Those
That's
guys
great.
were fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I didn't bring extra. I'm like, I get these made and now they get shipped from Canada and I get a bill from UPS, which is fun.
Oh, man.
Tariffs. We got sidetracked there, but concert tickets, yes. Physical, I will pay extra if the option is available. And Axis did it for so long where you could pay $5 a ticket. And I was like, that's fine. Give me an extra $5 a ticket so I can get a physical copy. I said, that's fine.
Well, again, it's that memory.
Yeah,
You could go back and look at that and go, "Oh, yeah, I was at that show." I love it.
yeah. And we talked about that in the last episode. The age of physical medium, vinyl, CD, like CDs are making a comeback again. I saw today, and I was like, that is a
Yeah.
strange thing to me.
I gotta
Vinyl is
find a
less
place,
strange.
to put all my CDs. I have them in storage currently, but, my records are here. Uh, I could I could see the, CDs, making an appearance in the car hole as well.
I just imagine next time you're just gonna be like encased inside of them, like an igloo.
Right. "Matt, help. I'm stuck in the car hole."
You use the wheel and it's just built upon it, and you're like, "Yep, I'm stuck in here now." But we we forget about that. We forget about that physical thing and getting even an album and looking at the artwork and seeing who was credited and seeing
Yeah,
like all those details where now it's like you just Google it and you can find it, but it's not the same. It's not the
it
same,
is a no, it's not the same.
not even close. So anyone who's watching, when you do watch this, enjoy this ride because we just went on we went all over the place.
We we went down memory lane there.
But yeah.
Well, I'm proud that my current band, got to put out a record on vinyl. I love that.
Oh, heck yeah.
And,
Talk about that.
I'm in a duo called Raised on Candy, and it's
I
just
love it.
me and my buddy Joe. He plays guitar and bass and sings, and I play the drums. And, we just rock out together. Him and I have been playing together for like, geez, probably 20 years now.
Oh, wow. That's
And
amazing.
we have a great connection. I mean, he writes some really heavy riffs, and I just try to keep up.
Isn't that the drummer's job always? Just trying to keep up? Because if you mess up, everybody thinks it was your fault, even if it wasn't.
Yeah. But it is really interesting playing as a duo. I was in a previous duo with my son, but I played guitar in that band and he played the drums. But I think it's rad having so much space.
Yeah.
You know, the more people in the band, the less room you have to do cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Said to any jam band where there's like 15 guys on stage at once and you're like, good luck.
Well, yeah. Well, they leave moments for those things,
Yeah.
or at least cool jam bands do. It's like the drummer has his time to shine.
Oh, yeah. And I love that. I think that's one of the best parts about that is giving each member of the band their own little platform, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about the bands, we've talked about the history. Like, who are the drummers that influenced you growing up? And who are the
Oh
drummers
wow.
that influence you now? Because I'm sure it's changed drastically over what you
Yeah.
said, 40 years.
I think I was influenced by a lot of '80s drummers when I was growing up. Like, loved Stuart Copeland,
Of course. Of course.
and I loved Alex Van Halen. Um, those guys made me go, like, "What is going on?" And then I found Terry Bozzio and
Mm,
Missing Persons. That band just flipped my lid. I was like, "What is
completely
going
different.
on?" That was an eye opener. That really. was big influence on me. I was just talking about them. A buddy of mine sent me this missing person thing. I was like, that was my favorite band, back in the 80s. And he went on a whole thing about Dale Bosio and her clear top. And, we, everybody loved seeing that. That was fun times.
Oh, man. Those are such different aspects, though. Like Copeland, Halen, Bosio, like three completely different
Yeah,
drummers.
they're all vastly different, but they're so unique. Like each one of those drummers, they just had their own style. And I think that's really what I was attracted to. They were they were exactly that. They were unique.
Yeah.
And, John Bonham, he just had his own style. You know what I mean? Nobody sounded like him. And I think that's really what I gravitated towards with listening to music was individual players that had their own sound. So yeah.
That's crazy. And it's the second time Copeland's come up because we were talking about left-handed drummers in the last episode and the open hand and
Okay.
that thing and him being one of those people. And you watch him on the Drumeo videos and he's still effortless, just effortless.
Totally.
He's also hysterical and not for kids. I think that's the
No, I love watching everything that he does.
yeah.
It's just so cool.
Absolutely. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I've seen two of the three police members, and Stewart being the only one I haven't. And he doesn't do a lot of US tours, but the next time he makes his way over here, hopefully soon, I will go to that because he's up there on my list. He's one of those influential people where like
Yeah,
synchronicity
I've
was,
never seen him live. I wish I had.
yeah, with anybody. I would literally watch him at a drum clinic where he touched the drums just a couple of times. They're
Totally.
like, hey,
Speaking of, I got to see Terry Bozzio
oh,
back in the 90s. I think it was the 90s, but that was like, holy cow!
yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Getting to meet some of those people after listening to their music and how influential it is.
Yeah,
Obviously Mike Portnoy, you guys can see the Dream Theater stuff behind him. And I'm going to shout out Wolf Elliott Media for these amazing shots. It's not very often that I see a picture and I'm like, I need to have that. And these both came from shows that I was at. So it kind of has a deeper meaning there. But getting to meet Portnoy, not once, but now twice, and the changes that have happened from 2007 to 2025,
right.
how he looks like the same person still, like, and it's still that same thing, and it's surreal in that moment because you're like, this is the person I'm listening to, this is a person that's influenced me, and they're standing right in front of me.
Yeah,
God, they're standing right in front of me, or they're playing, or whatever the case is. So it's definitely, I love that feeling, and it takes
yeah.
you to a different place.
Well, I'm always happy when you get to meet somebody that you idolize and they're pleasant.
Yes.
Because I used to work at Sam Ash on 48th Street in New York City,
Ooh.
and I met people daily. But one instance, I met Phil Rudd. Well, I didn't even meet him, but I talked to him, and he didn't say a word. You have to walk up to people. It's just
Yeah, it's
part of the
part of the
gig.
job. Yeah.
I just, introduced myself and said, if you need anything, please let me know. And he was looking at a drum set and he turned around and just walked out the door. I was like, oh man, that wasn't good. But I didn't geek out on the guy. I just, I was in work mode,
Yeah.
but
Be cool. Be cool. Like,
they were, that was just one of those moments where like, oh man, did I say something stupid or man, that he didn't even say hi. It was like, what did I do? That was just silly.
I mean, that's crazy though, working at that particular location.
I know. It was wild. I mean, I met everybody there. It was right by, what is it? Rockefeller Center,
Mm,
by where, Saturday Night Live is, and
yeah.
so everybody that played at Saturday Night Live would come into the studio to buy, "I need some sticks," or something. But it was wild. I met Chevy Chase.
Mm,
He came into the shop, and tons of actors, like, they just they just walk in, I'm gonna kill some time or something, just check out some cool guitars or drums. Kevin Bacon, I remember him. He played some electric drums. I thought that was rad,
Oh
you
my
know?
God. The stories of that alone, like that's a book right there. Just talking about those interactions. Like,
The craziest thing is it was before cell phones. Well, I had a cell phone, but it was before everything was so
yeah,
instant. I met Stevie freaking Wonder. Pardon my French.
it's
I
okay.
met S- I met Stevie Wonder. He doesn't remember meeting me, but I couldn't believe that. I mean, he tried out some new Roland electric drums. Wild. I mean,
And I mean,
it's just incredible.
underrated as a drummer himself, because we talk about, like, I've seen the stories where
I mean,
they're
yeah, you don't
trying to
really.
play it and nobody can play it and he sits down and plays it. Like,
He played the drums. I mean, we all heard it. It wasn't like, "Oh my god, that was incredible," but, he did just this, funky thing. I was like, "Well, that was simply amazing. I wish somebody would have recorded that."
but I feel like you recorded that one, and that's one of those instances where, like, we talk about wanting the physical medium, we want the picture, we want the video, we want that
Right.
to show other people, like, look, this actually happened, but also to be like,
Yeah.
hey, can I watch this again? Like, my first drum clinic was Chad Smith. I was 10 years old. I
Yeah.
wish there was video of that somewhere. I wish there was, you know, and we go through and we've talked about like Virgil Donati and, Billy Cobham and Greg Bissonette and Akira Jimbo, Marco Miniman, all these people, Derek Roddy, who was cool enough to come on the show a couple episodes ago, which was
Oh,
still
nice.
still blows my mind to this day that I was like 10 years ago I was at a drum clinic and now you're here. I'm like, that's cool.
That's great.
But we want those. We want those tangible memories. And I think it's like you said, you can't remember something that happened 50 years ago, but there's certain moments that you'll never forget.
Right.
I just want to make the title of the episode Stevie Wonder and just put a big thing in there.
Stevie Wonder came into my work. I can't believe it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I work from home. Nobody's coming into my nobody's coming into my
Right.
work. But I've had those situations, and I think the closest one I had was years ago when I worked at Starbucks. Robert Irvine, which not a musician in any, but all those Restaurant Impossible shows and everything else. And I saw him look at me, and he saw that I knew who he was, and I was just like, "Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Move along." Like that was it. It was one of those things where, like you said, don't geek out, don't freak out, don't
Right.
just be like, it's okay. So I think musician wise, I don't think I've ever randomly run into a musician now that I really think about it.
Well, I think it probably depends on where you're located. I mean, New York is a pretty bustling
Hmm.
city full of many, many different people.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think there's a good chance you're going to run into somebody if you're on Music Row.
Yeah.
Then there was tons of, it wasn't just the store I worked at. I mean, there was beautiful guitar shops on that whole street and recording studios. I might be mistaken, but I think the recording studio that P. Diddy got
Oh,
shot at or almost shot at was right on the corner.
oh, goodness. Oh,
Anyway, yeah,
that's
lots of excitement.
all right.
I met him actually. I didn't meet him, but I was at lunch and P. Diddy walked by me. He was going that way and I was going this way.
In that moment, do you just go, hey, or you just go, okay? Like, just kind of,
I did say, "Hey," or I waved or something, and he like did that or something. But yeah, wild.
that's crazy. I feel like if you wrote that, like, I'd love to see like a list if you could remember all the people you met throughout that, just because I feel like
Oh
it would
my
be such
god.
an eclectic list of, like you said, actors, musicians. It was whoever came in the store just to kill some time. And
Right.
that kind of takes me back to music stores. Music
I
stores.
know. Where did those go? I miss music stores because I I like feeling the drumstick that I'm about to purchase
Yep.
because they're all different weights and I like it to feel right, and you can't guarantee it's going to feel right when you order it
Online.
online.
Yeah.
If you order a bunch, one of them might be a dud.
Yeah. It was a lot
Sucks.
different than just reaching over and going, hey, I like this one. It looks beat
Yeah,
up, but I like this one.
totally.
Random Dave Weckl stick that's within range at any point.
Yeah.
Still one of the funniest stories. We saw Dave Weckl at a drum clinic, and somebody asked, they did a Q&A, and they said, "What's the name of your band?" And the whole room just turned and yelled the Dave Weckl band, like as loud as possible. And
Oh,
I,
man.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that guy probably got up and left because he was probably like, "Oh, that was not good."
Oh,
Like that hurt.
that's embarrassing.
And going back to the physical music, when I got to see Dream Theater a couple months ago, I met this amazing family. I've talked about them on the show, but they actually run a music store in South Florida. So that's M.A.E Music. They're not paying me to talk about this. I'm literally advertising them because I miss music stores too. I miss the memories
Yeah,
I have of going to Encore Music growing up,
totally.
going to Sam Ash, going to Thoroughbred. I almost said Thorough Good, but Thoroughbred Music. That's where I met Chad Smith, and there were so many AJ's Pro Percussion. There's all these people that were an
Yeah.
essential part of just me buying
That's
a
where
drum
I
set because it was like, oh, this looks cool.
that's where I saw a bunch of cool clinics too. Terry Bozzio I mentioned, he played at the local music store, and I don't know where those things happen nowadays. I mean, there still is music stores, but
Much harder to
there's
find.
not as many as there used to be. But yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. Not to take us down on a sad note, but yeah, I'm hoping there's a resurgence in a sense of, COVID changed how people look at everything, whether it was art, whether it was music, everything else. And I feel like maybe we'll get back into that swing where music stores are more accessible, but more updated. Sometimes you see the music store and then have that one section of the store that nobody went to. And like, no, like, don't go talk like the weird guy's back there. Don't go talk to
Right.
him. It wasn't usually the drums, let's be honest. Like, it's not usually how that worked. And, maybe just figuring out a way to make it a more modern place to go and somewhere that's more accessible, having
Yeah.
the drums out. Because I noticed over the years, playing the drums at the store was less and less of an actual activity. It was like you can play that one set right there
Right.
and nothing else. And you're like, but I don't want to play that one. I want to hear how this sounds right here.
Well, it also comes down to the square footage of the store. Drums take up, as you saw earlier, an
A little
incredible
bit.
amount of space.
Yeah.
And, you can't have 15 drum sets set up on display ready to play. It's impossible. But I hear you. That would be a fun music store to visit if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm definitely going to try and make my way down there just to support the local music. If I have to drive 4 hours to do it, I'll do it in this case, just because for the sake of keeping something alive that is an essential part of my upbringing. It was an essential,
Right.
just how I grew up. Like my parents didn't stay together. Like dad would pick me up on the weekends. First place we'd go, music store. Go
Nice.
play, and I'd sit in the cymbal room for half an hour, never buying a cymbal, but oh, I like this one. Oh, this one sounds cool, or this one sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to February of last year, and we're at a concert, and the guy in front of me is wearing a Zildjian shirt. And I said, "Oh, you got to be a drummer." I said, "You're not just wearing
Get out of here.
what? What?" And I just like froze, and like my other half is like, "What's going on?" I was like, "You don't like this man is royalty right here." And he
That's
didn't
great.
follow the music business. He's a chef. Like not as big of a part of that as you would think. And I thought that was so crazy that I
Huh.
see a t-shirt and I said, that's a drummer. Like we always know the tapping gives it away. The ADHD gives it away, but more or
Totally.
less the shirt really did it. So, Scotty, thank you, man. Like, thank you so much for coming on. Definitely want to have
Well,
you back.
thanks for having me.
Because, like I said, Drummer POV on Instagram, you're at 12,000 followers and you're posting pictures that people don't get to see. You're posting that picture where a lot of the times the only time you're getting a picture from behind the drum set is when the photographer is standing on a
Right.
chair or a ladder to get the whole crowd. And any other time you're not really getting that. And I feel like in our social media age and the way it's gone, like it's a really cool thing where people are sending you and they're excited to send that to you. So I'll leave you with this. Who's one of the most surprising people that's reached out, and who's one person you hope would reach out to be able to post their kit?
Well, geez. I mean, it's most of those people are unfortunately have passed, you
Mm.
know? Like, I wish, uh, I don't know, like a Neil Peart could send me a cool picture of his
Mm.
current drum set, you know? But, I mean, I'll just have to check my inbox. Maybe something will appear.
Save it for
You
next
know,
time.
it's yeah.
So,
Um,
I
but
mean,
it's sorry.
no, go ahead.
I am in contact with drum techs, so they're usually the ones that send me cool pictures of artists' drum sets. Is their actual drum techs take the picture and then send it to me.
I mean, that's even cooler. Like, listen, the drum without the drum techs, look at how many times we see a video, and this one just always comes up to mind. Danny Carey breaks his snare mid
Oh, I
song,
love it.
and literally
Yeah,
the tech runs in, grabs the snare, puts the new one in there, doesn't skip a beat. And without them, the shows would not be where they are. So to every person who's a drum tech out there, not to make the AC/DC reference, but we salute you. Like, we're thankful for you.
totally.
I'll leave this last part. If there's anybody you want to thank or, like push any of the projects. I know you guys said you just had your record come out. So, tell people where they can find you and
Well, yeah, we didn't just have our record come out. We're currently making our second record,
oh,
but
even better.
Raised on Candy is the name of the band. You can find us on the internet or Instagram or wherever you listen to music. If you like to listen to music on vinyl, we still have copies of our limited release of that, and look for our new record hopefully this summer.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to talk right around that time. We can go ahead and do that. And yeah, we'll be in touch. But thank you so much, Scotty. I really appreciate it. On behalf of the DrumQuig podcast, like this was a blast. And like I said, we'll talk again soon.
Thanks again.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig podcast. Thank you so much.